Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Well, it is lecture number 10 of Ancient History and the date is 10th September 2025. Well, today, as you know, we are discussing the Moryan Empire, and in our last class we discussed the administration in Moryan Empire. We started to discuss it, and I told you, as it was the first and the biggest centralized kingdom in the Indian subcontinent. So it was very much evident that if it is centralized, so it would be ruled directly by the king through the bureaucrats. So there would be huge number of bureaucrats. We discussed that there would be huge number of bureaucrats. So when there are huge number of bureaucrats, so definitely there is burden on UPSC aspirants, because we have to remember their names, the name of the offices, what were they called. We have to remember everything. And in today's discussion, we will look into this matter very deeply. We'll try to understand, we'll go as deep as possible to find out what were the different offices, what were the different ministers, what were all this stuff, what was the bureaucracy, how did it look into, how did it look like. We'll try to understand that, and we will try to get as many facts as possible so that we will be ready for the prelims exam if any question would be asked from this topic. And trust me, this is the most viable topic for UPSC to ask any question from. Now, without any delay, we will start our discussion. But before we start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about the initiative which we had started here, so that if there are new students to this channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically from 2nd June 2026, we started an initiative here by the name Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, I promised you that every day I will upload 2 videos, one in the morning session where we will discuss the current affairs or the news analysis, whatever you would want to call it. We'll try to understand whatever is happening in the world and the India, whatever is relevant for your preparation. We'll try to understand that. We'll try to discuss the important facts in that. We'll try to establish the prelims and mains questions if possible, and we do it every day. And in the evening session, I upload another video where we will discuss the static syllabus, and this is the video which I'm talking about. Here I told you by the month of January 2026, I will try to complete your full syllabus, whatever is required for you to clear the exam. Whether it would be related to prelims or mains, everything would be covered, but only exception is that, what is the exception? That we are not going to cover the optional subjects. That is the only exception. And in this regard, we started with Indian polity, which we had completed fully in 30 lectures. Then we took up governance. We completed governance in 11 lectures. After that, we started with Indian history. As we know, history, it is not very much evident from the syllabus from where we have to start. But if we look into the papers, we come to know that it starts from the ancient history. So we are right now discussing the ancient history. As you can see, it is the 10th lecture of ancient history. So this is what we are doing right now. And in this regard, I told you one thing which is very much important for you as well as me, that these lectures we try to discuss everything in it, but there is always tendency of a human to lack something. So what would you do? Wherever you will go to any coaching institute, they will not teach you everything, because there is always this tendency that something will be left alone. So for that, what you do, you will go through the notes. Maybe you will have some books from where you will read, but these books are written in that way which will only give you the information. It will not talk with you, it will give you the information. So in this regard, I would recommend you, it is your discretion finally, I would recommend you to come here and go through my notes. Why? Because my notes will talk with you. They are written very differently, and they are very comprehensively written. For example, I told you with respect to Indian polity and governance, notes are available. First of all, I wrote it in more than 1100 pages. This book is as big as more than 1100 pages, and great thing about it, there is no topic which you will miss from it. Everything is contained in it, specific to Indian polity and governance. Then the third important fact about my book is that after every concept which we had discussed here in the book or here, there would be the possible prelims or mains question. So it becomes in a way a test series, kind of a test series for you too. So it is a comprehensive book, whatever is required for a comprehensive book. You will have the prelims questions there, you will see the mains questions there, you will see the full discussion over it. If you want to get access to it, you know what you will have to do? You will have to mail me at salvation UPSC 136 at the rate gmail.com. Once you will mail me at this mail ID, you will be responded to pay only 200 rupees. This is the minimum amount which you can contribute to us. Then you will get access to it. If you want to get access to it, please do it. If you want to be the part of this journey, if you want us to lead you, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now, without any delay, let's start with our discussion. Yesterday we left at the offices, the centralization of the Moryan Empire. We left at what were the what were the offices at the central level, what were the offices at the provincial level. Now let's recap it first where we left, then we'll move ahead. Because today's discussion is fully focused on the facts. This class is very much important for your prelims perspective, whether you are preparing for UPSC prelims or your state civil services exam. This lecture, especially today's lecture, it is going to play a part in it. So please open your mind, open your notebooks, write everything what I write here. If you can't write it, then ask for the PDF, or then definitely do wait for my notes. I will definitely add it there. So at the central level, we discussed that there would be the Swami. Swami, he would be the head or the king. Swami is the king, and it is at the central level. Central level. There is Swami, king. Below Swami, he will have tirthas. He will have tirthas. Tirthas. What are these tirthas? Kind of departments. Under him, under tirthas, there would be the adhyakshas. Akshas. Please ignore my pronunciation because I tell every day that I am not from North India. In North India, I am from Jammu and Kashmir, and my mother tongue is not Hindi even. So it becomes really hard for me to pronounce such words. So please forgive me over it, but try to understand what I am trying to write here, what the concept is about. Then we have the adhyakshas, and under adhyakshas we have two offices. One is called Amatya, which is officer, and then there is a special officer, Mahamallas. Mahamallas. He is the special officer. Special officer. This is at the central level. Now at the provincial level, let's have a look at it. At the provincial level, we have the Kumara or Aryaputra. Aryaputra. Who is the Kumara? He is the son of the king. Son of the king. He is a relative of the king. He is a relative of the king. Then we have then it bifurcates into the rural and the regional, into the rural governance and the urban governance at the provincial level. In the urban governance, we have Pradeshika, and in the rural we have Rajuka. We have Rajuka. Who is Pradeshika? He is the officer. He would inspect every 5 years, inspect his region and separate the Dhamma. He would separate the Dhamma. Under him we will see officers. One would be Yukita, Yukita. Then there would be another officer. He would be Sathamanika Sathanika Sathanika, and under him there would be different officer under Pradeshika. That would be Gopa. And under Rajuka we will have Yukita, and here would be Sathanika. Who is Yukita? Under Yukita we will have Grama. Under Grama we have Gramika. Similarly, from this side, Grama and Gramika. That is very much evident. Who is Sathanika? Sathanika is the tax collector. And Gopa is the accountant. He is the accountant. Similarly, Sathanika is the tax collector. So these are the offices at the central level and at the provincial level. Now let's try to understand what were the roots, what do Ashoka's inscriptions refer, what were the provinces under the Ashoka, under the governance of the Mauryan Empire. Let's try to understand that. What were the important provinces? Ashoka's inscription refers to 4 provinces under governors. What? Ashoka's inscriptions, they refer to 4 provinces. They refer to 4 provinces. What are these provinces? First we have Uttara Patha. What is this? It is also called Taxila, of which the Ashoka was once the governor. Then we have the Avanti Rath. It was at Ujjain. Then third we have Prachya Patha. It was Tausila. And the fourth one is the Dakshina Patha. Please do note down these names. It is Suvarnagir, whatever the name is. So these are the 4 provinces which were under the Mauryan Empire during the Ashoka's time. Now let's move to the Tirthas. As I told you, these are the we can say the head of the departments, or we can say Tirthas. These are the departments, or we can say head of the departments. These are the under which the departments do come. These are the Tirthas, are the head of the departments. So let's see what are the Tirthas under the Mauryan Empire. First, let me rub it first. Till now, I guess everything is very much clear, very factual, and I told you that sometimes you have to be there, you have to bear it, because it is important for you. If you are not going to remember these things, trust me, you will not answer any question from prelims with respect to ancient history, and it would not be good for you. So what are the Tirthas? Firstly, Tirthas are the head of the departments. First we have Mantrin. Would be minister. Then we have the Purohita. What are the departments called? He would be chief priest. Then we have the Senapati. He would be the military commander. Here I would like to mention that in our yesterday's class we saw that what was the Artha Shastras, Kautilya's 7 limbs. In that we did not saw that Senapati. Why? Because the Artha Shastras, they are the ideal ones to follow, and all the kingdoms they try to achieve that. But here there is the need of the Senapati too, military commander. Then there would be Yuvaraja. He would be the crown prince. Then there would be Dwarika. He would be in charge of palace. Then there would be the Samaharta. He would be the chief collector of taxes. Chief collector of taxes. Then Sanidhata. He would be treasury chief. Then we have the Prasasti. It would be the prisons. Then we have Antravasika. It would be the chief of harem. Where the women's live, where the wives of the king or daughters live. Then we have Nayaka. It is the city constable. Then we have Yovarika. VYA Harika. He is the chief judge. Then would be Dandapal. This is police chief. Then would be Antapal, chief of frontier defense. Here I would write it. Antapal. It would be the chief of frontier defense. So these are the Tirthas under the Mauryan Empire. As I told you, these are the heads of the departments, or we can say departments itself. Whatever you would named, would you like to call them? These are the heads. After Tirthas, we saw that there would be the at the central level there would be under Tirthas there would be departments, and the head of the departments would be Adhyakshas. So we will have to look at the Adhyakshas. What are the different Adhyakshas? Now Tirthas are clear. Let me repeat it again for you guys. Mantrin, which is the minister. Prohita, which would be chief priest. Senapati, military commander. Yuva Raja, crown prince. Davarika, in charge of palace. Samaharta, chief collector of taxes. Sanitata, treasury chief. Prasasti, prisons. Antravasika, chief of harem, women's quarter. Nayaka, city constable. Yuva Vahrika, chief judge. Dandapal, police chief, and Antapal, chief of frontier defense. So these are important for you. How question would be asked from it? I will give an example. For example, they would say Dandapal and Antapal or dash or offices under the Mauryan Empire. What are they? Dandapal is they would change it. Dandapal is the chief of frontier defense and Antapal is the police officer. First statement is correct, second statement is correct, both are incorrect, or both are correct. Like this, a question can be asked in the exam. So you need to memorize it. You need to remember it. You know what you should do? Write down these tirthas, note them down, and on some page, and read every day. Keep that page with you wherever you go. If you get free time, read them, and do this every day. Definitely it will remain in your mind. Now let's look at the Adhyakshas. What were different Adhyakshas under the Mauryan Empire? Adhyaksha and department. Adhyaksha was department. Adhyaksha and department. Adhyakshayas. Yes, and department. What are they? Akara Dayaksha, first one. Akara Dayaksha, it would be the mines and minerals. Mines and minerals. These are the departments. First, Tirthas are the heads. Mines and the mineral heads of the department, and these are the departments. Akaradhyaksha, mines and the minerals. Under Tirthas, these departments would come in. Then we have Akhapala Dayaksha. Akhapala Dayaksha. Under him is accountant. Accounts. Third, we have Kupiya Dayaksha. Kupiya Dayaksha. Under him we will see forest produce. Forest produce. Fourth, we will see Lakshana Dayaksha. Lakshana Dayaksha. Under him we will see the mint. Fifth, Panya. Panya Dayaksha. Under him we trade and commerce. It is trade and commerce. Not under him, trade and it deals with trade and commerce. Sixth, we have Potwa or Tukmanika. Potwa or Tukmanika. Under it would be weights and measures. Weights and measures. Then we have Sita Diaksha. Seventh, Sita Diaksha. Crown land. Then we have eighth, Sulka Diaksha. Sulka Diaksha, customs and tolls. Customs and tolls. We have Sura Diaksha. It is excise. Then we have Sutra Diaksha. It is handlooms. Then we have Vivita Diaksha. It is markets check. Market checks. Market check wrong practices. Then we have Patana Diaksha. It is forts. So these are the important Diakshas under the Moryan Empire, which you need to know. Let me repeat again. Akara Diaksha, mines and minerals. Akhapala, accountants. Kupiya, forest produce. Lakshana Diaksha, mint. Panya Diaksha, trade and commerce. Potava Diaksha, weights and measures. Sita Diaksha, crown lands. Sulka Diaksha, customs and tolls. Sura Diaksha, excise. Sutra Diaksha, handlooms. Vivita Diaksha, pasture lands. Samastha Diaksha, market checks. Vivika Diaksha, pasture lands, sorry. Sutra Diaksha, let me repeat it again. I guess here I had wrote Sutra Diaksha, handlooms. Vivika Diaksha, it is pasture lands. Then we have the Samastha Diaksha. Samastha Diaksha is the market checks. Vivita Diaksha is the pasture lands. Samastha Diaksha. Samastha, here I would write it. Samastha Diaksha, it is the market checks. And then we have Patana Diaksha, it is the forts. And now we have now let's move to the another part, which is the Mahamathas. What were the Mahamathas during the Moryan Empire? During the Moryan Empire. First we have Vaharika Mahamata. Vaharika Mahamata, it is the judicial officer. judicial officers, special officers. These are the special officers. Then we have Sena Naya, Sena Naya Mahamata. It is the military officer, military officer. Third, it is the Dona Donama Paha Mahamata. Paha Mahamata. It is the assessment officer. Assessment officer. Then we have Dhamma Mahamata. Dhamma Mahamata. It is the officer for Dhamma. For Dhamma. Then we have Sabathaka Mahamata. Sabhathaka Mahamata. It is the chief minister. Chief minister. Then we have Amta Mahamata. It is the officer in charge of frontier areas. Officer in charge of frontier areas. Then we have Ithijaka. Ithijaka is the officer in charge of women. Officer in charge of harem or woman. Ithijaka. What then we have the judicial officers too. Let me write it here. Let me first rub it. For the judicial, we have Danda, one of the limbs of Saptanga theory. Danda, one of the limbs of Saptanga theory. Then we have the reference to civil courts. Reference to civil courts too. It is the Dharmasthya. Then we have the reference to criminal courts too. Criminal courts. It is the Kankat Sodhana. Kankat Sodhana. Then we have the espionage department to spy department. Espionage department or the spy department headed by Mahamatya Pararpa. Headed by Mahamatya Pararpa, who controlled the secret agents or or spies. Then we have the reference of the Kautilya, who calls spies as Gudha Purushas. Kautilya calls spies as Gudha Purushas. Gudha Purushas. While Ashokan inscriptions referred to them as Pativedakas and Policenis. Ashokan inscriptions refer to them. Ashokan inscriptions refer to them as the Pativedakas and Policenis. So this is something extra which you need to know. Now let's move to the economy, social and edicts of the Ashokan Empire. So how did what kind of economy was at that time? With the administration we are sorted now. Let's move to the economic life, social life and then we'll look into the rock edicts, and then we'll complete our discussion with the Mauryan Empire. Then we will shift towards the Megalithic period and discuss it. There is not Megalithic period is not as big as the others are. It won't take much time. So economy, it was the agricultural economy, state controlled. There were various, hunting and gathering also continued. Hunting and gathering also continued. Hunting and gathering also continued. There was the state control of the economy, and state had monopoly in mining and metallurgy. State had monopoly in mining and metallurgy. State has monopoly in mining and metallurgy. Then we have the, for example, Akara Dayaksha and the Loha Dayaksha. For example, we have Akara Dayaksha and Loha Dayaksha. They have the monopoly in these departments. And also state was also directly involved in production of some goods. For example, they were called Raj Paniya. State was also involved in production of certain goods called Raj Paniya. For example, salt. State was involved in this. What was the taxation system there? Let me rub it first. Taxation. There were majorly four taxes. What are they? First, we have Baga. How much it was? It was a land revenue. It was 1/4 to 1/6 of produce. Then we have the Vartani. What is this Vartani tax? This is the road tax. Then we have Nishak Ramya. Third, Nishak Ramya. What is this? It is the export duty. Export duty. Then fourth, we have the Vishiti. It is the tax paid in the form of work, or we can say forced labor. Vishiti. Then what was the trade? How did the trade look? Trade. The Jataka stories have frequently referred to caravan traders referred by Jataka stories. They had frequently referred to caravan traders carrying large quantities of goods to different parts of the country. Caravan traders carrying large quantity of goods to different parts of the country. Then we have the security provided by the Moryan ruler enabled internal trade to bloom. The security which was provided by the Moryan rulers, and it enabled internal trade to bloom. And the major trade routes to West Asia and the Central Asia passed through northwest India. There was external trade too. Major trade routes to West Asia and Central Asia passed through northwest India. Passed through northwest India. The main trade routes in the northern India were along the river Ganga and the Himalayan foothills. Main trade routes were along Ganga river and Himalayan foothills. Himalayan foothills. And major centers were Rajagriha in Magadha and Kosambi near present-day Allahabad, were connected in this way. Major centers like Rajagriha in Magadha and Kosambi near present-day Allahabad were connected in this way. Now, what is the social and also the punch marked coin is still in the punch marked coins were still in the circulation. Punch marked coins were still in the circulation. Now let's look at the social life. This is about the trade. This much should be enough for you to answer any question from the trade part. And let's move from the economy part of the Mauryan Empire. Let's move to the another part, which is the social life. How was how, how socially different was the Mauryan Empire social life? Megasthenes divided the Indian people into 7 strata. He was the Greek writer or philosopher, we can say. He visited India and he divided India into 7 strata. Megasthenes divided India into 7 strata. Why? So because he tried to understand the social life of India through the prism of the Greek understanding. So that's why he divided it into the 7 strata. But our system is different. Our social division is based on the Varna system. It is different. But he divided it into the different perspective. How he divided how he divided them into 7? What were the 7 stratas? First, it would be of the philosophers. Then second, it would be the farmers. Third, it would be the herdsmen and hunters. Then fourth, it would be artisans and traders. Then fifth, it would be soldiers. Sixth, it would be overseers, and then seventh, king's counselors. So he divided the Indian society into this division, but his understanding was totally based on the Greek understanding. So it would be these might have been the occupations how people would do, but this was not the division of the Indian. It is not this exact social life of the Indians of that time. So in this regard, the Shastras mention wage labor, bonded labor, and slave labor too. Megasthenes, he does not refer to slaves, but slaves were there. Why? Because the condition of slaves in India was much better than the condition of slaves in the Greeks, from the place where from he was. So that's why he did not mention them. But according to Arthashastras, the slaves were there. He mentions wage laborers. He mentions Arthashastras. They mention about the Arthashastras. They mention about the wage labor. They mention about the bonded labor. They mention about the slave labor. The term karma kara refers to a person who works in return for wages. Karma kara. So here you need to know karma kara, term karma kara, who works in return for the wages. Then the Artha Shastras, they reflect a significant hardening of the Brahmatical positions on untouchability. Brahmatical religions, the people who follow that, Brahmatical position about the untouchability, it had worsened during this period, according to Artha Shastras. And also the position, woman's position with Brahmanical families was much worse than Heterodan sects. The position of woman was better than in the Brahmanical families. So this is the social life. Dasa Dasi was also there. And one important thing you should know that the Mauryan Empire, it led to the emergence of the untouchability. Untouchability, it emerged in this period. Even Shudras were non-pure. The Shudras were non-pure. Then we have the Chandalas. They were the untouchables. So it led to the untouchability. This is the social life. Then we have the Ashoka's Dhamma, which we discussed. It is very well mentioned in the rock edicts, for example, major rock edicts, minor rock edicts, pillar edicts. Now here we'll try to discuss various major rock edicts of the Ashoka, and then we'll conclude our discussion. We'll see the decline of the Mauryan Empire, what led to the decline of the Mauryan Empire, which is very much easy to understand because there is something, technical, and it is similar with respect to every kingdom once it declines. So here we'll try to understand first what were the major rock edicts, what was their message, and rest with respect to minor rock edicts and pillar edicts that we will see in the art and culture. Here we need to know what are the major rock edicts. We have 14 major rock edicts. Let's try to understand them one by one, and then we will conclude the Mauryan Empire here. First, let me rub it for you guys. So first we will look into the major rock edict 1. What does it talk about? Prohibition of animal sacrifices and festive gathering. Prohibition of animal sacrifices and festive gathering. So this is the rock edict 1. Then we have the rock edict 2, major rock edict. It is about major rock edicts. Major rock edicts. This is most important. Major rock edict 2, it talks about the welfare measures. For example, road construction, digging tanks, planting saplings, etc. It also mentions southern kingdoms. For example, Cholas, Pandyas, and Kerala Putras, which are the Cheras, and Tamra Parni of the Sri Lanka. Then we have the rock edict 3. It refers to the respect to Brahmins and Saramanas. Respect to Brahmins and Saramanas. Who are these Saramanas? They are the monks of the different religions, of the heterodox religion. Monks of heterodox religion. Then we have the 4th. It preaches non-violence. The Beri Gosha sound of war drums to be replaced by the Dhamma Gosha. Beri Gosha, which is the sound of war drums, to be replaced by Dhamma Gosha. Sound of righteousness. Then we have the 5th, which is the humane and kind treatment of slaves. 5th major rock edict, it talks about the human and kind treatment of slaves, human and kind treatment of slaves, appointment of Dhamma Mahamatras to propagate Dhamma, appointment of Dhamma Mahamatras to Dhamma, promote Dhamma, and also emperor would pardon prisoners for good behavior on his coronation. Emperor would pardon prisoners on good behavior on his coronation. Then we have sixth. It talks about all people are my children. All people are my children. Are my children. Paternalistic view. Paternalistic view. All people are my children. Then seventh, it talked about the tolerance to each other's religion. Tolerance to each other's religion. Then we have the eighth. It talks about he took up Dhamma Yatras in place of Vihara Yatra. Took up Dhamma Yatras in place of Vihara Yatra. Vihara Yatras. Dhamma Yatras in place of Vihara Yatras. Then we have ninth. It talks about people to discontinue rituals, sacrifices, and follow Dhamma. People to discontinue rituals, sacrifices, and follow Dhamma. Follow Dhamma. Then we have the 10th. It talks about the Ashoka defines Dhamma as freedom from evil. Ashoka defines Dhamma as freedom from evil. Then we have the 11th, where Dhamma is elaboratively discussed. Then we have 12th. Ashoka orders to the people to live in harmony and peaceful coexistence. 12th. Ashoka orders people to live in harmony and peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. Then we have 13. It is the most important and most elaborate. It is the most important among all the Moryan rock edicts and the lengthiest one, this 13th rock edict. It talks about the Kalinga War. It mentions southern kingdoms, mentions five. It also mentions southern kingdoms. It mentions, five contemporary Greek kingdoms. Five contemporary Greek kingdoms. It mentions about them along with these rulers. Who were the rulers? First, Antiocho. Who is Antiocho? It is Antiochus II Theos. Antiochus II Theos. Antiochus II Theos from Syria. Second, we have the Turayama. It is the Ptolemy Philadelphus. Ptolemy Philadelphus, Egypt. Ptolemy Philadelphus, Egypt. Then we have the third. It is the Antigonus Gonatas, Macedonia. Antigonus Gonatas, Macedonia. Then Then we have the fourth one is the Alika Sudaru. Alika Sudaru. Alexander, it is Epirus, Greece. Epirus, Greece, he mentions about him. Then Maka, fifth one is Maka or Magus. It is this Syrian, Libya. Syrian, Libya. King of Syrian, Libya. So these are the kings which the 13th rock edict mentions. Then we have the 14th rock edict. Let's write it on this 14th. It talks about orders that all the above edicts to be engraved on the rocks. All the above edicts to be engraved on the rocks. So these are the major rock edicts of the Ashoka. With this, we complete our today's discussion. Sorry, not today's discussion. We complete the Mauryan Empire with respect to Indian history. We will revisit it with respect to art and culture. We'll again see it. So please don't worry. If I would have missed anything, that we will cover there. And if I will not cover it there also, then that's not important for you. Please remember that. So with this, what is the decline? What are the major reasons of the decline? First, one of the major reason of the decline of the Ashokan Empire is the Ashoka adopted non-violence, his love for non-violence, that he, in a way, he did not focus that much on the wars after the Kalinga war, and his military was not that well trained. It was one of the major reason. Then also the economy worsened. There were no good kings after the Ashokas. There were various regions, no good administration was not efficiently managed. There were regional conflicts were there. There was economic decline. There were external factors were there. There was social discontent, and definitely there were weak rulers. Because of all these, when connected together, it led to the decline of the Ashokan Empire or the Mauryan Empire. With this, let's move to the another part and let's try to discuss the Megalithic period, and we will conclude. Then we will conclude our discussion. First, let me rub it. Now, as we have to discuss the Megalithic period, before we'll start to discuss it, I will give you the brief, a kind of a recap, very quickly, what we discussed and why we changed this shift. Let's discuss that. First, let me draw a line here so that you will understand it. Here, then I went towards the north. Here, similarly from here towards south. Then we will discuss this and we will connect it. Here we started with the Paleolithic age, then Mesolithic, Neolithic. Then we discussed the Chalcolithic, non-Harappan, Chalcolithic, Harappan, non-Harappan, and Chalcolithic, Harappan. Here, let's assume this is the Chalcolithic, Harappan. Harappan. Then we went to the early Vedic age. In the north, there was the later Vedic age. There was Mahajanpadas, and then the Mauryan Empire, in a nutshell. And from the south, how the things was different. Here from the non-Harappan civilization, here it was the non-Harappan civilization. Here we have the megalithic culture for the very long. Then we have the, Sangam age. It would last from 300 BCE to 300 CE. Common era, before common era to common era. Now what we have to do, we have to discuss the megalithic period. In the south, it was mostly prevalent in the south, megalithic period. So this megalithic period, it lasted from 1500 to 3000 BCE, or 1500 to 300 BCE, megalithic period. It lasted from this. They were the agro-pastorals, They were agro-pastorals, and they celebrated dead by elaborative megalithic structures. They celebrated dead by elaborative megalithic megalithic structures, and depending upon these megalithic structures we can say that whether this person whose grave it is, was it important or not. These would be the big stone structures. These would be the big stone structures. So big stone structures. Similarly, in this phase we don't see the literature. We don't see literature. Writing is there, but it is undeciphered. It is not. It has not been deciphered so far. It is undeciphered. So we can say it also belongs to the proto-historic period. As I told you, it was the agro-pastoral economy, and we don't know who controlled this. Who was the ruler? Who was the controller of the megalithic period? Was there social stratification? It seems there was the social stratification. Social stratification, it seems there was by when we look at the megalithic structures on the graves, we find out there are few megaliths which are very huge and few are very differently. So it seems that there was social stratification. And do they have the knowledge of iron? Yes, they had the knowledge of iron plus copper. They had the knowledge of iron plus copper. So this is basic idea about the megalithic people in India. And one thing about megalithic culture, you have to know, you need to note out. It is not specific to India. It is something which is related to human, influence. Wherever you see the evolution of human, you will find out there was the megalithic structure sometime. Similarly, it is in Deccan Plateau in India. If we look at the sites of the megalithic structures in India, these are different sites. For example, Adi Chanalur, sites where Adi Chanalur and Payampally in Tamil Nadu. Adi Chanalur and Payampally in Tamil Nadu. Then we have Brahmagiri, Helur, Maski, Brahmagiri, Helur, Maski, and Telakota in Karnataka. Then we have Nag Arjun Konda and Yeleshwaram in AP. Arjuna Konda and Yeleshwaram in AP, Andhra Pradesh. Then we have Taklaghat and Naikund in MP. Taklaghat and Naikund in MP. Then we have Gofkral and Burzuhum. Gofkral and Burzuhum in Kashmir. And Leh and Ladakh. There we see the megalithic structures. And what are these megalithics? There are three basic types of megalithics. And they are the chamber tombs, unchambered tombs, and the megaliths. Three basic types are chambered tombs, unchambered tombs, and megaliths. These are the three basic types of the megaliths. These unchambered tombs and the megaliths are not connected with the burials. They are not connected with the burials. Unchambered and megalithics, they are not connected with burials. Now here, what are the different megaliths which we had found? For example, Menhir is there. It looks something like that. Then we have Dolminoid. It looks, here is the grave. Here would be look something like that. Then we have Topical, it would look like this. Then we have hood stone. Hood stone is there. There is Erin circle. Erin circle. There is multiple hood stones. Multiple hood stones. There is stone alignment. Stone alignment. There is urn burial. Urn burial. And rock cut cave. Rock cut cave. And pothole cyst. Pothole cyst. So all these with pictures would be given in the notes, so don't worry about that, but just remember these are the megaliths which we had found so far in India. Then if we look at the megaliths, there are two types, chambered and unchambered. For example, in chambered we have the underground, partially underground and overground. For the underground we will see, let me write it here, make it very much clear for you guys. We have the megaliths. Megaliths. It is chambered. In chambered we see underground. Underground. For example, cyst. Then we see partially underground. Partially underground. Here we see dolomanoid. Dolomanoid. Then we see overground. Overground, it is dolma. Dolma. In Kerala and Karnataka, this is found. For example, tropical Kundan, Kodai cover the ground. They are over the ground. In tropical and Kundai, they are over the ground. Then we have the unchambered. In unchambered we have the either urn burials or pit burials. Pit burials. In pit burials we have pit and stones around. We have a pit and there are stones around it in a circular shape. And in urn burials we have the another phase. In urn burials there would be urn would be buried, and then we have the sacrophages. There would be sacrophages. Urn would be buried under the ground, and sacrophage, it would be terracotta mound. Sacrophages, terracotta mound. So this is about the megalithic structures which we had found so far. This in a nutshell. It would be given in a day, as it is not that important for your exams. There are least questions would you expect from this. So whatever we discussed, you can expect the question from megalithic age, megalithic period from this discussion, and it would be elaboratively given in the notes. So don't worry about it, because it is very dry. It is structural, which we have to define, and it would be given in the notes. So don't worry about it. If you are sorted out with this one, this is more than enough. With this, I'm going to conclude my discussion here. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.